Get strong.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's The Beautiful Bag podcast. This is your host, LeeAnne Hayden here, and I have a very special guest this week. It's a little bit different than what you guys are used to here on the podcast. Kam is the son of an ostomy, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for him and I to have a great discussion about, what it's like to watch his mom go through an ostomy and what he's learned, because we've had quite a few conversations and he's learned so much about our community and what our lives are like. So Kam, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so happy that you're here. I think this is going to be great because I think coming from having your view on the whole situation, and telling as much of your mom's story as she would want you to tell, but really coming at it from, your point of view of the things that you've seen. I think it'll be great for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm excited to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Kam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your mom's story?
Yeah, so my name's Kam Utter. My mom and I were from Indianapolis, Indiana. We live on the northeast side of Indianapolis, pretty much where I grew up, born and raised, spent most of my life. I am currently working at a company called Quest Safety Products on the west side of Indy, where I'm our e-commerce sales manager. So I handle all the sales on any website platform like Amazon or Walmart. I'm also finishing up my MBA at Butler University, which is a university here on the north side. So I'll be done, as we were mentioning just a minute ago, I'll be done in 4 weeks. So I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah, my mom, she is 64. She was diagnosed with colorectal cancer in February of 2019. So we're a little bit over 2 years now. And yeah, it was just a crazy time. She started out with, having some issues with her stools, kind of bloody stools, issues with using the restroom in general. That led to, some emergency room visits. Eventually she had a couple of colonoscopies done. And that's when we found, or the doctors found, some masses in that area. Initially, they dubbed it stage 2, stage 3. That was kind of the beginning level they gave it. But after a few months went by, it really started to rapidly grow, unfortunately, and it moved to her liver. So at that point is when they went ahead and, kind of deemed it stage 4 and, the terminal kind where, we're not really going to get rid of this, but, maybe the goal is to try to do whatever we can to help you live for as long as you can. At the beginning of it, it was, the doctors were like, we have a patient that, has lived 10 to 12 years. He said 10 to 12 years. And we're like, oh, okay, awesome. Like we still got our mom, and
Right.
for a certain period of time, not as long as we'd like, but we got her for longer than, just a year or something. So that was really good for us to hear. And that was when her first round of radiation and chemo started. And it was working. It was keeping the cancer kind of in check. It wasn't necessarily reducing it at a great rate, but it was reducing it. And that was better than, the alternative. And then that fall came of 2019, and she started really having some issues with using the restroom. It was very painful for her, very little output, if any. So we went to the hospital, emergency room, and it was pretty much hey, we got to have this surgery like right now, like within the next couple of days, or the alternative's not going to be good.
Right. Right. So was it causing, the masses were getting just so large that it was causing blockages, like nothing could pass through?
Right. Yeah. So the mass during her, I guess, her break period of downtime between chemo rounds, it grew, and it got so large that it became very, very painful for her to pass anything. And that kind of led to some blood, and you know how the story goes. It just kind of got worse from there.
Mhm.
And then that led to the ostomy surgery, and that was around fall of 2019. So she's been living with the colostomy bag since then. Um, and I've like you said, like I've been living with her this whole time. When she got diagnosed, at the time she got diagnosed, I was living in a downtown condo in Indianapolis, and the second she got diagnosed, I was like, all right, I'm selling my place. I'm moving. I'm getting her closer to my family and moving her in with me, getting her out of the small condo she's in now, and got her up to where, my brothers and we all live within 5 minutes of each other. So it's perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so I moved her in immediately. So I've kind of got to watch this whole progression. Although like selfishly, it has been kind of tough,
Mhm. I can
it's
imagine.
been, it's been good in terms of seeing like her resiliency, and but it's also, like I said, been tough seeing her like decline, and kind of part of that, unfortunately, is the bag, and she's had kind of a bad experience with it, um, not because of the bag itself maybe, but the chemotherapy and radiation cause her output to be just really unpredictable. So
Right, right. And usually when you're in a colostomy bag, it's a little more solid, a little more, other than so she probably more or less has that feeling of having ileostomy, which is, liquid coming out from your small intestine, where with the colostomy, a colostomy bag, you have more of your large intestine for it to process through. So at least you get some of the hydration or some of the water out of it for your output to be more solid. So, you know, so when she first ended up in the bag, how was that for her?
it was really challenging. I think that one thing I've learned, and from just my time spending time with mom, and also spending time getting to know other ostomates in the community, um, there seems to be a lack of education prior to surgery. And that may not be the case for everybody, but for my mom specifically, it was. I mean, she had a 1 hour training before she went in and had a life-changing surgery.
Mhm.
And something that's completely abnormal to how the human body is supposed to function. And it was really troublesome for her. She had a lot of issues with figuring out the adhesives, and how to put it on her body, and how to put it on there to where she had it tight enough to where it wouldn't leak out the side, and just all kinds of things. And especially those first few months, she had a lot of blowouts or leaks or accidents, things like that, it was really, really tough for her those first few months.
Mhm. And though, and I can imagine, well, I can't imagine, I can't imagine, because I've had some of that situation myself where,
Right.
they educate you just so much. And then, you go to Google and you see what it all is, and you're like, no, don't, like, no, this is not happening to me. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm just not, but knowing that, I think for me anyways, and your mom probably would feel this after, in the beginning, you don't know how much of a community there is.
Right.
You don't know how many other people have gone through blowouts and blockages, and bags not sticking, being in a hotel and your bag comes off and all of a sudden there's the hotel sheets, like just so many different stories of so many different things that can happen, being out to lunch and your bag leaks, like it's happened. It's happened to me. And it's happened to many people that I talk to, you know, there's those situations, but I think, and especially in the beginning, because it's new to your body doesn't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. And after time, it does get easier. It gets way easier over time. At least that's what I've experienced myself. Because you got to learn what to eat. You got to learn what products work for you. There's an entire learning curve that nobody, like you said, nobody really educates you on that. There's going to be a learning curve. It's a very emotional thing that you have to go through as well. So
yeah, I can add to that too. My mom would, if we were going to church or a niece or nephews or her grandchildren, my niece or nephews, basketball games and stuff, she would always carry extra supplies and extra change of clothes. And because it wasn't even the fact of like, yes, it could happen. It was almost like the fact of like, it's gonna happen. I just like have to have it there. And unfortunately, I think that's how it was for her for a while of like, I've got to do this. Like I've got to have this. And, you know, there was a couple of times when she might've, you know, forgot to bring something, but then, you know, shortly after she's like, hey guys, like I gotta go, you know, like had a, you know, an incident, and, you know, we knew as a family what was going on, you know, but, you know, kept it hush hush and didn't make it a big deal or anything like that, but totally can back that in terms of seeing mom, especially in those first couple months, struggle with that.
And yeah, and like you said, I mean, it is a struggle, and you've seen it. So, I mean, you've seen things firsthand. So now, how is your mom now? So this was all fall of 2019. So that's 2 years ago now. So she's been in the bag. She's had her bag for 2 years. How's the cancer? How are things going for her now?
So in time flies. So in 2020, that was a rough year for her in terms of, obviously COVID happened. And I mean, imagine, you know, we're already going stir crazy. Everybody, you know, even the populations that aren't, what do you call it? At risk, you know, for COVID. You know, she is a stage 4 cancer patient, like going stir crazy, but also can't get out because she's immunocompromised. I think that really hurt her like mental health in terms of her drive or her grit to be able to like face this battle head on, because she couldn't leave. Like, you know, technically she couldn't leave. Like I ran all the grocery runs, and we would, even when we brought home the groceries, I would disinfect them all because we were so nervous about like anything COVID getting to my mom, because she's obviously extremely at risk. So she kind of like negatively progressed throughout that year, but nothing like crazy, just kind of slowly got worse, but nothing crazy. So we were still like hopeful that some type of treatment would work. It was really when this year began that we started seeing like a significant decline. With the cancer treatments, they kind of like start with like the strongest cocktail, you know, that has the highest chance of working. And then if that doesn't work, they start working their way down a list of cocktails that, you know, have a less and less likely chance of working. So we kind of started going down that list, unfortunately, because nothing was really working. We had stairs at my old condo, so this summer was pretty busy. I sold that condo, and I bought a ranch out here by my brother's as well, so she didn't have to go up and down stairs, and that wasn't an issue. Got her a master bedroom that has a very open, spacious bathroom, so she, you know, has the room for, you know, just everything. There's space, there's room for her to operate, and it just helps her out a lot. And then so once we moved into here, it kind of, long story short, things have just kind of gotten worse, unfortunately. So 2 weeks ago, we had a pretty big doctor's appointment, and they said if this treatment that she's on right now works, that we're looking at 12 months, and if it doesn't work, we're looking at probably 6 months for her left to live. So reasons being, obviously the cancer has progressed, but more spots have developed in her liver. The colorectal region, that mass has gotten larger, and also it's traveled to her lungs. So we're in a kind of a down spot as a family right now, I guess, but we're just trying to take it day by day. And I'm actually at home right now. I think the last time I talked to you, I don't think I was at home. I think I was in the office, but I'm at home right now. My boss has been awesome and has been very supportive of me and my family and allowing me to work from home. Whereas I was typically working every day, downtown, which is about a 35-minute commute, so an hour, 2 hours, or 2 hours out of my day every day just commuting. So anyways, just trying to be around her, support her, and she's having a tough time, but she's incredible how she deals with it. Never complains. I told you with like the inconsistency with like output with her colostomy bag, she'll still have some blowouts that she can't control, but she'll be up at 3 a.m. with those and never complain to me, and she knows I'm here to help, and I've been her primary caregiver, but she loves to not come get me as much as she can just because that's the person she is. And it's been incredible watching her resolve and just kind of her determination and strength through all this. Although, it is such a unfortunate situation to be in.
No, it really is. And I know I speak for all the listeners too, and our hearts are with you guys. Our prayers and our hearts are definitely with you guys. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. And thank you for the well wishes from Mom. I'm doing okay. It's been challenging. It really has. I've kind of had a front row seat at watching all of this. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want it any other way because I want to be here to help my mom. I'm also the only one of my brothers that's really has this flexibility. I'm not married. I don't have kids. My brothers are married and both have 2 kids, and there's a lot going on in their lives. It's not that I'm not busy. I got school and a job, but to me, it just made sense for me to step in and play this role. And I wanted to do it, but stepping back and just kind of going through what we're going through now, if I'm reflecting on it and to answer a question like that, it's been really challenging. Just like I said, kind of having a front row seat at watching this decline that, I can really do nothing to stop. The only thing I can do is to be there. And sometimes that's worse, because you can't do anything. So
yeah. Well, you can't. There's only so much you can do, and like you said, you're learning her resolve, and you're, it's making you stronger. But you've been doing a lot. I mean, from supporting her, for being there for her, but also learning. Watching her go through her issues with her ostomy, and you've been starting to reach out to the ostomy community. You've been starting to watch what that community really is. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, because you even did a program for school too for that. So let's discuss that.
Yeah. So, with my mom having an ostomy bag, it kind of inspired me to want to look into the ostomy community, more into what is an ostomy, I see it with my mom, but, I really haven't gotten to the specifics of, how's it work? And, all the way down to the anatomical, descriptions of everything. have a textbook right behind me on ostomy management, and I've been reading it. So I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to it now. But
You probably, you know more than I do because I don't have an ostomy textbook.
yeah, I've got this
Oh, wow.
and then an ostomy management book. I don't know if you can see it with the
Yeah. So
the glare.
guys, so he's holding it up. It's called the Ostomy Book. And then
Yep.
the other one is the Ostomy Management Book.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk. What have you discovered when being a bookworm? Because I'm a definite bookworm, but I've never read a book on ostomy.
Well, let me tell you, it's pretty dry. So,
Okay. Okay.
But one is an actual like medical school textbook, and the other one is a textbook somebody wrote about like management of the ostomy, like living life comfortably with a colostomy or ileostomy or urostomy, whatever it may be. But yeah, living with my mom kind of inspired me to start doing research in this area, and I started reaching out to ostomates on social media, using the power of social media, and I started finding that there's a lot of people that are part of this community that are advocates, and the ones that do choose to speak out and be advocates for having an ostomy. They're very, very passionate about it, and it's really awesome. And I've actually asked a few of them to hop on a call with me and kind of tell me their story, because I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear how it related to my mom's. And I'm also doing a business project right now as my senior project for my MBA program, where I'm trying to, the idea is to, in theory, design a better bag for ostomy patients. So I've been, interviewing all these patients and people in the community, and it's been really awesome. Like I said, they're so passionate and they have so much advice and such good people. And I think the most unique thing for me has been no one story is the same. It's incredible how it's all different. Like two people could have Crohn's, let's say, and X would, how their story of how they got to having an ostomy bag versus Y's story about how they got to an ostomy bag is entirely different. Like no one story is the same. And it's been really unique to hear. It's been humbling to hear. It's been helpful to hear in terms of, my mom and helping take care of her. And it's been insightful in the way that, I can go into my mom now and be like, all right, so your bag, like throwing out all these words like wafers and, and convex, and barrier film and talking about all these different types of adhesive removers and, just kind of picking her brain about it and taking the things I learned from the people I've talked with and talking with her about it. And I've just learned a lot, and it's been a lot of fun kind of diving into that community and seeing where, I might be able to help.
What are some of the top things what are like 3 or 4 of the top things that you have learned that, that really kind of inspired you?
I would say one is just no story is the same. That inspired me just because it's just wild to me how many like different avenues there are to this and how many unique journeys people have had and how hard they were. Some of this stuff and to how the ostomates got to having an ostomy bag is like really scary stories. You could write books on this stuff, and it's something you don't hear about though. Like when do you hear, a movie being made about an ostomy or ostomate or a book being written about it? It's not necessarily like pop culture and out there. And two, the want to break the stigma of what living with an ostomy bag is like, and kind of breaking that stigma of it's not quote unquote abnormal, it's a life-saving surgery, and it's just the way I live, and my body needs this in order for me to operate efficiently. And I've taken some really cool tips and tricks from people in terms of living with a bag. I would have never have thought of putting Altoids in the colostomy bag to make it smell better. That cracked me up. And Tic Tacs. So just little like, tips and tricks there. And then other ways that I can, potentially help make the bag better, if I were to pursue that in the future as a businessman. One being, I think almost everybody, with the exception of 2 or 3 people, mentioned, hey, if you can create a gas filter that works and like its longevity lasts past like 2 days, then you're going to be a millionaire kind of thing.
Exactly. You can sell it to all the ostomy companies.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just, it's cool hearing that stuff and just learning from them where I might be able to help out in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is amazing. That is amazing. So, Kam, wow, your mom's story, your story, you are such a wonderful son. You and doing what you've done, selling your condo, moving her in with you, selling your the next condo, getting a ranch, working full time, going to school. You're almost done with the MBA. We can celebrate that in 4 more weeks? 4 more weeks, yep. Fingers crossed.
4 more weeks.
And you're done with that. But so, what does the future look like for Kam?
Yeah, so I'll be done, like you said, with my MBA in 4 weeks. Right now, I work for a company called Quest Safety Products. I've been fortunate enough to lead a really large initiative there. The last 3 years, I launched our e-commerce platform for the company. And in 40 months, we're the company's largest business segment, generating 33% of our company's revenue in total. So we've really been successful as a team there, and as a company. So my next step this next year is, as I have my MBA under my belt, I'm calling it my transition year from kind of passing things off at Quest, where I'm at now, and working into developing my full-time business plan that I'll be pursuing, Q3, Q3, back half of next year, 2022. And hopefully by the year 2023, I'll be completely on my own, running my own show. So I'm excited.
Cannot wait to see that. Cannot wait to see that. I know you're going to do amazing. Now, Kam, if you were to leave our listeners with one thing that you've learned through this whole entire process over these last few years, what would that be? What would you tell someone who's in an ostomy?
That's a good question. I would say just simply don't be embarrassed by it. There's a stigma around it, but who cares? You just had a life-saving surgery. You need that to be able to operate efficiently. Your body needs that. And I would also say that living with my mom, who I've seen struggle, not all ostomates have bad experiences with their bag. Some have wonderful experiences, and that's amazing. And I wish that for everybody that has to get an ostomy bag. But for those who may not, just know that there's a community out there for you to reach out to. Although I don't have an ostomy bag, I can relate in some ways because of my mom. So I think her situation, if you're looking for a silver lining in it, has helped me, has prepared me, and made me more apt to be able to serve as an ambassador and as a connect, as an acquaintance for people with ostomies that might need just someone to talk to or someone to reach out to. So don't be embarrassed by it. Feel free to reach out to me. There's a community out there for you. You're not alone in that at all. Don't think you're different. Just your body needs something a little different to function, and there's nothing wrong with that. So
I love that. That's great advice, and we appreciate that. And Kam, if people wanted to reach out to you, if they wanted to find you, where would the best place be? Where should they go?
Yeah, I think the best place would be Instagram. LeeAnne, you can put my handle on the podcast after, but it's just Kam Utter at Kam Utter on Instagram. That would be the best form.
Perfect. I will definitely add that to the show notes, so that everybody can reach out, can connect with you. And, you know, Kam, again, like I said, I know I speak for every one of us. You know, our prayers, our thoughts, and our love is with you guys, as you go through what you're going through, what you're going to go through over the next few months, few years. I'll put a
Yeah.
years. We'll put fingers crossed there too.
Yep.
And you are a wonderful son, and I got to thank you so much for being here with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome.